Okay, good evening, Maui families. Welcome to the Lahaina Community Webinar. I'm Erin Wade, the Deputy Managing Director for the County of Maui. I'm joined by a great team here tonight to share some updates and information with you. Next slide. Thanks. So couple of things before I get into the plans for this evening. Just so you know, we will be taking questions at the end of the discussion, and you can enter those in the Q&A. The chat has been disabled, but in the Q&A, you can ask questions and we'll answer those at the end. Tonight, we're going to be hearing from Army Corps of Engineers on the transfer of debris from the temporary disposal site to the permanent disposal sites. We'll get that update. We're going to hear from Halemaha Olu about a homeownership and housing counseling program. Hawaiian Electric is here to give us some updates about service. The Office of Recovery has updates, and the Environmental Protection Agency just has a little information to share. So I'm going to introduce Mayor Bisson real quick to say hello, and then we'll proceed with the webinar.
All right, hello. Yeah, aloha mai kako. Thank you everybody for coming on our webinar tonight. I first want to thank the team that's worked hard to put this together like they do at all of our community meetings, whether they're in person or virtual. So just on my behalf, I just want to say thank you for gathering our speakers, our panelists, and putting together the information that's necessary for us to keep our community informed. I want to thank those folks who sent in some questions in advance, and for those who are going to be asking questions along the way. And hopefully our team will do their best to answer tonight. If not, we'll certainly get back to you on that. I think we have a good schedule tonight and a good amount of information that's being shared. If there are any questions that you have for me, again, please let my team know. I'm sorry I'm not going to be able to stay on the entire webinar because of some other conflicts. But I did just want to add a couple of things that are not necessarily on the agenda and things that I wanted people to have on their radar. These are more by way of announcements. I'm going to use this opportunity to do this right now. For those of you interested, we have the Los Angeles Rams coming to Maui in June, and they are setting up free clinics. I think it's between the 16th and the 19th, War Memorial Stadium in Wailuku. And so if you have young folks that want to come out and be part of the free camp, just got to go online and register for those. But I'm really excited to pass that on for the community. Also, we're excited to talk about the county fair that we want to get start back up again in October. So for those of you looking forward to the parade and the county fair, that's going to happen in that first week of October again. So please be on the lookout for those things as they come up, in the very, very quickly. So I'm just going to leave those announcements just to let everybody know where that's heading, and say thank you again for attending. And I'll turn it back over to our Mistress of Ceremonies, Erin Wade. Thank you, Erin.
Thank you, Mayor. Thanks for joining us tonight. So coming up, we have a few meetings scheduled. The first is the in-person Lahaina community meeting, which is scheduled for Wednesday, June 4th. It's always the first Wednesday of the month at 5:30 at the Lahaina Intermediate School cafeteria. So we hope to see you there, or you can join us online on Facebook Live for that. The Rebuild Lahaina plan, which we talked a little bit about at the last community meeting, it's going to start the community engagement process through some design charrettes, and that's going to be happening June 25th and 26th. So be on the lookout for more information and specifics about times and locations for that. And then finally, we just kind of wanted to let you know that both at the community meeting and then again at a follow-up meeting that we're trying to schedule, the prosecuting attorney's office is going to share some information about fraud protection, specifically related to construction contracts. We understand that there has been some concerns and some issues happening with folks signing contracts that aren't being followed. And we want to make sure you folks have all the tools you need, and we're able to give you some assistance as well as connect you with the people in the community that can help out. So I'm going to turn it over real quick to Sarah Pedroza from Environmental Protection Agency for a quick update.
Thank you, Erin. Aloha ahi ahi, everyone. My name is Sarah Pedroza. I'm US EPA Region 9's Disaster Recovery Coordinator. I just wanted to briefly provide an update and an opportunity at the next in-person community meeting in Lahaina for an update on the Lahaina Drainage Master Plan. For those who may not know, EPA in partnership with the County of Maui is working to update the Drainage Master Plan for Lahaina Town, which was last updated in 2005, so a pretty long time ago. And in Lahaina, as many of you know, and many other places in Maui County and throughout the state, we get stormwater runoff that accumulates in some of the low spots and flows along roadways or into people's properties or even into our coastal environments. And so we have established this effort to update the Drainage Master Plan for Lahaina as a part of the recovery process. And it offers a very unique opportunity to be able to identify some improvements and recommendations for public lands, commercial properties, private properties that ultimately reduce flooding, stormwater runoff, improve nearshore water quality, and provide better protection for our coastal ecosystems. So again, at the next in-person community meeting that Erin mentioned that happens the first Wednesday of every month at June 4th at 5:30 at Lahaina Intermediate, we'll be presenting on the Drainage Master Plan. We'll probably have some more updates and some more details on what the plan is, and there'll be opportunities for the community to engage. We'll be going over some of our project timelines, some of our milestones. We'll be sharing about a site visit. Some of you may have seen some of our contractors in the field this week walking around Lahaina, and then also to outline some opportunities for future community engagement to inform the Drainage Master Plan. So that's it for me tonight, but I look forward to seeing many of you in a few weeks in Lahaina to be able to talk about this more. So spread the word if you guys are interested in drainage and informing that process in Lahaina. Mahalo, Erin.
Thank you, Sarah. Thanks for coming to share that. And we're just happy to have the EPA here assisting us with this, and we'll continue to coordinate with you with all of our plans moving forward. Next up, we have Army Corps of Engineers. I don't think this is Anton, is it? I think this is Colonel.
Quick swap out of briefers tonight.
Okay.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome.
Hi, this is Greg for your staff. Quick update on our movement from our temporary disposal site to our permanent disposal site. Same plan as what we briefed on 7 May. We are still underway making improvements to the King Hall Road. We plan to use that road. Is there another slide that shows a map by chance? So same route we briefed last time, the red route that you see, we are finalizing our King Hall Road improvements now. Just a reminder that the King Hall Road will be for authorized vehicles only, so please do not follow the trucks as you see them make that right turn coming out of Lahaina. We will be moving approximately 200 trucks per day, and we do not expect any traffic impacts. We do appreciate your patience. These trucks will be driving the speed limit, but it may create a little bit slower movement, but again, very minimal impacts throughout the process. We do anticipate starting in early June and wrapping up by November, but we know that there are certain environments that could change this or make it delayed. But for the meantime, we'll keep you updated bi-weekly. For now, though, no change from last brief. Thank you all.
Thank you, Colonel. And next we have Marlon Tanji from Halemaha Hi, Marlon.
Good evening. My camera not working. So my name is Marlene Tanji. I'm the program director for Halemaha Homeownership and Housing Counseling Program. And we are, most folks know us as the senior housing site, but I run a program that helps with financial counseling to anyone in Maui County. Next slide, please. Next slide. So our program has been around since 1989. We are HUD approved, and we have HUD certified counselors to help anyone who is trying to improve their financial status in learning basic financial literacy, trying to understand the banking, purchase a home. And so we work with anyone in the state and in American Samoa, but our main focus is on Maui County, which includes the islands of Maui, Lanai, and Molokai. We provide counseling services and educational classes. All of our counseling services are free. Our homebuyer education class has a fee. Next slide. So the free counseling services that we do is financial life skills counseling, which is basically understanding how to budget, savings, understanding credit, managing debt. We also offer rental counseling, so we help you with understanding how to save your funds for the deposit, and try to help you look at your credit reports, try to help you get ready for when you have to actually do rental, when you do a rental, excuse me, when you do a rental when you're out in the public looking at different rental units. We also help you with working with the landlord. Another portion of our program is focused on home ownership. And so we do a pre-purchase counseling and a post-purchase counseling. So we offer the homebuyer education class. And to get the certificate, you would need to do a pre-purchase counseling is before you apply for the loan, how to get yourself ready for what the loan officer is going to ask you for. And then once you purchase and close the loan, we also do a post-purchase counseling to make sure that you stay on track with the mortgage payments. We also do mortgage delinquency and default counseling. That's to help the homeowner who might be struggling with the mortgage payments to find a way, what options they have in staying in their home. We also offer fraud and scam prevention counseling. Next slide. Our homebuyer education classes can be taken in two formats. One format could be the live virtual class, which is three-hour sessions, let's say like a Sunday, Wednesday, and a Saturday, that we offer these classes. And it's a live virtual class where you can ask questions to the instructor. It's based off the Realizing the American Dream, which is a HUD-approved homebuyer education course. And in order to qualify and complete the homebuyer education class, to get the certificate, you would need to do the pre-purchase counseling. It does say that it is $75 per household, but for anyone that was affected by the Maui wildfires, those class fees are waived. So with the homebuyer education class, it helps a lot of times to qualify for first-time homebuyer loans. A lot of loan lenders are looking at offering lower interest rate, possibly a smaller down payment. So if you attend the class, attend the counseling session, then it will qualify you for this special class where you can get the lower interest rate loans. It also, if there are programs that's offering down payment assistance, that's also a requirement generally. Next slide. For those that are really busy and they don't have time to take those 3 set classes, we also offer the self-paced online, which is the Hale Maha'olu Framework course. We partner with Framework, which is an online homebuyer education course that takes you through the entire loan process, similar to what is being offered on the live class. And with this, you also have to take a little quiz at the end, and that way you can get the certificate. But you would also need to take the pre-purchase counseling and the post-purchase counseling with that too. Likewise, the fees are waived on this class too. So, if you have any questions, you can give us a call. Next slide, please. And so we're located at the Cameron Center and we have our phone number there. But I also wanted to let anyone know that if they're currently receiving financial assistance, a lot of the financial assistance programs will be ending soon. So now is the time to start looking at your finances to kind of see how you can transition from receiving those financial assistance to help making either mortgage payments or rent payments, how to help you transition with using your own funds into being able to pay for the mortgage or the rent every month using your own finances. But you have to start early. So you want to kind of look at your finances before the financial assistance ends, and we can help you with that, try to help you get ready for that transition. Next slide. So if you have any questions, I'll be here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Marlon. I know before my husband and I bought our property, we went through a financial counseling, and it was also based on NeighborWorks. And to this day, I still pull out that workbook just to be planning for financial planning purposes and thinking about improvements to our house. So thank you to all of the organizations that are offering financial counseling, and especially to you who came tonight to share that with us. Next up, we have Emily Smith. Welcome back, Emily, from Hawaiian Electric for an exciting update.
Thank you. Good evening. Thanks for the opportunity to present today on the Lahaina service restoration work. So my name is Emily and I'm the principal engineer here at HECO. Next. Oh, sorry. Next. Okay. So this map highlights the system infrastructure work that we've completed since January this year. Green is the primary distribution infrastructure that's been energized. Blue sections indicate infrastructure that will be energized by June. And pink sections indicate the infrastructure that will be energized pending permits, easements, and customer requests. So no date assigned to these pink areas yet. Next. We understand from county and from Four Leaf that there have been a lot of residential permits assigned. So if you recently got a permit for your home, congrats. And we encourage you to take the next step now in your electrical restoration process as soon as possible by going to our customer interconnect tool and inputting your service request with HECO. So this slide has a URL and the code to get you to the customer interconnect tool. It will be provided in the meeting notes, and it can also be found on our website. It's very important that you work with a licensed electrical contractor in completing your service request, as working with them from the very beginning will make the entire process a lot smoother. Next. Hey, we're here to help. This slide shows how you can get a hold of us for any questions. You can make an appointment with us, you can give us a phone call, or you can shoot us an email. We also have a webpage full of West Maui facts and information on how to restore power to your property. The URL is at the bottom of the slide. Next. That's it. That's all I have for today. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Emily. Can you stick around in case there's questions?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, super. Thank you. Next up is John Smith, the Recovery Administrator for Office of Recovery. Hi, John.
Hey, Aaron. Hi, everyone. I hope you're having a good week. Can't believe it's the 21st of May. Welcome to our webinar. Let's jump right into it. We have a few updates from Recovery World. We'll start with CDBG DR. We've talked to you folks about the DR program quite a bit. We went through the draft action plan. We submitted that plan to HUD, and if you look on the timeline here, we are awaiting their approval on the plan. That means that we've taken in all of the input from you folks. We've incorporated into the plan. HUD's looked at it. They had a few tweaks that they asked us to do. We hit submit, and they've submitted it to HUD headquarters for approval. That's really good news. That means we are on track for an approved action plan, hopefully in the next few weeks. So that's where we are with CDBG DR. While that's being processed by HUD. We are continuing to work on some additional paperwork on the financial side, on the county side, and showing our capacity for managing the program. That's all happening with Patience's team, and she's on here tonight if we have questions come in for DR. We thought we would just throw up a reminder for the Recovery Center in Lahaina. Most folks know where it is located now. There's a picture. It's near Foodland, Gateway Center. And if you can make it there, great. If you can't, you can give us a call at the phone number here. And then we also have, that's staffed every day. CNHA is helping us with that, plus all of our other resources that you folks are familiar with. And just note that as the CDBG DR program ramps up, we'll continue to use that space for that program as well. So we're happy for you folks to walk in if you haven't been there. Just a note, this is information that's available from FEMA. It's online, it's on the Recovery Center now, but if you need to know how to make rent payments, here's that information. This pamphlet is in the Recovery Center, for example. And if you can't make it there, CNHA is at the Maui Mall as well, at the Kaka'o Center in Maui Mall if you're on this side of town. They're open 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. Next slide, please. Okay, update on permitting. We are almost to 400 permits issued, which is, significant. The 316 of the permits are in process. 17 are complete. I think that means occupied, so certificate of occupancy. 255 homes under construction. If you go through Lahaina town today, if you're not there, it is amazing how much construction is happening in town, and you can see it. So 255 is the number right now, and it's good to see that the smaller number, the 152 non-residential number, that's some commercial, and that includes some non-residential. But it includes residential properties with 4 or more units as well. So that's that 152 number. These numbers are updated daily on the county website, so we'll keep tracking those on the recovery website. Thank you. Next slide. So Aaron mentioned the Rebuild Lahaina plan earlier. We have some engagements planned on that, the 25th and the 26th. This is to dive deeper on the rebuild plan, getting really detailed on the public spaces and the commercial core in particular. Everybody has a path to move forward right now in terms of permitting, but we're working with the commercial core folks to make sure that their voice is heard, your voice is heard, and the town comes back in the shape that the community wants it. Focusing on the streets, focusing on mobility in the streets, and making sure that folks can get around town, looking really closely at safety, working with Public Works on making sure that those tight areas get connected that we've talked about in past. All of that is moving forward, and we're going to engage further and more deeply later in June. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know, Aaron, if you want to tag team with me a little bit on this one.
Sure. So this is the general area that the Rebuild Lahaina is going to be covering in the conversations and discussions, specifically related to streets and sidewalks and the connectivity that John was mentioning. And then again, talking about parking. So this is the area primarily that will be the focus, although it does also include the area around the harbor, Wharf Street, et cetera, around the banyan tree as well. And then the Royal Complex planning process has also started and is under contract. So the team that is going to be working on that is also going to be reaching out very soon for public engagement. It was only just contracted, so they're working on scoping and figuring out next steps but wanted you to be able to see how these two spaces kind of interact and that there is some overlap between them, particularly around the harbor. And that it'll be a back and forth conversation, but that the planning efforts are going to inform one another, but are happening kind of in parallel. So please keep your eye out for both of those as they move forward.
And then we've brought this up a couple times now, and this is just a little bit more detail. I'll start on the left side of the map. We do have a Front Street railing repair project that's getting underway, and that's on the left side. That's right where it says sidewalk repair construction area. So that's going to actually start next week. I think our slides may say June, but I just got an update on that. And so that area of Front Street will be closed for the next several months because of that activity. But in the meantime, we have worked on limited access to the beach for those that want to surf, and for those that want to make it to the beach. So in these two areas, we can go to the next slide. So this is the way it will look when you park in, and that's the Restoration Foundation's parking lot. And I don't know if you want to talk about that, Aaron, but you can park there and make your way to surf.
Yeah.
It's pretty straightforward. You want to?
I just want to say, you know, a mahalo to Lahaina Restoration Foundation. Typically, this was a paid lot. You probably remember it as a paid lot, but for this moment, for the summer, while the community is getting back and accessing and familiarizing themselves with the space as it is now, they're inviting the community free of charge to park at Lahaina Restoration. This was the primary way this organization earned their funds to support all of the historic preservation projects that they take on. So moving forward, it's not permanently free and won't permanently be free, but for the moment, they're inviting the public and welcoming them to utilize the space.
Yeah. Thanks, Aaron. And you can stay on this slide, but this is that's fine. I mean, I meant the Kamehameha Ike slide. Sorry, Jen. On the south side of the harbor, we have a Public Works has a parking lot that used to be paid as well, and it will come back as a paid parking lot at some point in time, but right now it's not. And this is, you know, as we all know, this is a really sensitive area, and right now there are folks going down there surfing, and they're crossing this property, and we don't really want that to happen that way. So we are temporarily making this fencing and access path that runs along one side of Kamehameha Ike Park while the rail complex gets planned and a lot of other activities happen on that park itself. So this will be when you go down there, you can park here and then you have to walk in through the path that's designated, and those pathways are being erected this weekend.
John, I feel like it might be a good opportunity to just mention to folks, you know, while cleanup has happened, where there was a building pad, that doesn't necessarily mean it's level ground or safe to walk on. So that applies to public and private properties, which is why we're not just opening the park back up. There were buildings on this site and there isn't the opportunity yet to access. And so we just want to keep everyone safe, but allow for the ocean recreation to occur through the summer. But that's why we're going to continue to have this fenced for a while.
Yeah, thanks, Aaron. So you won't be able to like drive down Front Street the way you used to. That's not. There's a very large chunk of right around the Banyan, and that whole area is closed off to vehicle traffic. But there are these two limited spots, primarily geared towards local folks that want to surf or access the beach. That's the overall. So the entire area that's sort of shaded, that's all blocked off to vehicular traffic still, and it will remain that way for some time. all these slides will be up on my recovers as we go forward. We appreciate everyone's patience with us as we continue to restore. The other thing is we're working on with DLNR. So we talked about limited access, but also limited access to the harbor. That's not ready quite yet. So we're shooting for July for that to happen. And DLNR will be the ones that will be responsible for issuing placards to folks that are actually going to come in and utilize the harbor. So there won't be a free for all to just be able to run around like it used to be, at least not yet until the work that DLNR is doing is complete. And I believe their original schedule was a completion in 2026. So we'll have them come back in future meetings to give more detailed updates. And then we are working with them on a solution for the public facilities at that location. So we really can't open anything there until those restrooms are operational again. And then we thought it would be good to just mention a few other things that are in the works, we're calling it. We talked about the Rebuild Lahaina plan, and that has lots and lots of tentacles, I'll say, attached to it. So, and if you want to see what those are, please visit my recovers and look through the plan. All of them are at various stages of completion, but everything's moving forward all at once. And I want to give a shout out to Jen Maiden, and I don't know if Jordan Hart's on here or not, but the OR staff are working really hard behind the scenes to push forward so many initiatives. We really can't talk about all of them in one night, but it's all moving forward. We've heard loud and clear parking is a major issue, and we are working on that. We've already looked at modifying some bills. I think Bill 103 was one we were looking at to make it a little bit more difficult for, not difficult, but make it more prescriptive in terms of how much parking is needed per bedroom in a house in the residential areas. We know that's a big deal, so we're working on that. We are working with Public Works and the Planning Department on code violation and enforcement. There have been, I mean, we won't get into the details, but there have been stop work orders issued on certain properties that were maybe doing things that they shouldn't be. That is happening. It's slow and you're not going to see it publicly, but it is happening behind the scenes. So we are aware of some issues, and thank you for bringing them to us. We talked about the harbor and partial access, shooting for July there. I talked about the Front Street railing project. That's a project that was in the works for over 10 years for Public Works, and it was ready to start construction actually right before the fires. So they are now back on track. That project's fully funded and they'll start next week. Aaron and I have come and talked about property acquisitions and connections. We're working closely with folks like Wendy, who's on here tonight, and Public Works for safety connections and roadway work. We're also working on acquisitions that some of them fall along the shoreline, some of them are green space. So we have a whole program just dedicated to property acquisitions that are geared towards hazard mitigation, safety, and public access. We'll talk more about that in the future. And in fact, we're working with council right now to give them a briefing on it in the next coming weeks. Working on memorial planning, and then working with the state, HIEMA and FEMA on continuing individual assistance and making sure that that assistance stays in place as long as we need it. So that's just a few things that are into the works. I'm sure there's more things. I know there's more things that aren't on this list, but we wanted to just give you a feel for what's happening. Aaron, what did I miss?
I don't think you missed anything. I just wanted to clarify on the memorial. So we're working to develop a process to engage the community, and we're kind of expecting there to want to be maybe more than one memorial space to be identified. So we do have a team that's going to start engaging on collecting folks' stories about Lahaina and about what was important to them, what continues to be important to them. So we'll be able to make some announcements probably next month about how that's going to feed into planning for the memorial and how you can engage with that. I think that's it.
So that concludes our updates from recovery today. I do want to remind everyone that, follow us if you can. And if you have questions, please reach out. We saw a lot of questions come in early when we started doing these. And then lately we've been getting a few questions a week, but you can always go to support@MauiRecovers.com and ask questions there. You can call the number on the screen and our staff will be happy to assist you. We do have a few questions, I think, that came in this week, and then we'll be happy to answer questions live right now if you have them.
Yeah, so the first question that came in is, what is the progress on relocating the Lahaina Adult Daycare Center? Wendy, can you help us with that one?
Hi, good evening, everybody. Yes, so we are in the process of executing a lease with Maui Adult Daycare. As soon as that lease is executed, we anticipate that they will be able to open within 30 calendar days. At this point, we're looking at more like September, just so that we can process the lease and do all the paperwork and adequately address all the things that we need to do. And this property is at 60 Nui in Lahaina. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Wendy. Another question that came in was related to land acquisition, and the individual is asking, if someone's begun permitted construction, is it safe to assume that their property is not going to be acquired or seized?
Yes, that's a safe assumption.
I don't think we're doing the seizing at all. And then that kind of leads into the question that was posted online as well. So I'll just, has there been any Makai property purchases made? Well, John, were you typing a response to that?
Well, I was starting to, and then I realized I can't do two things at once. So
Yeah.
my apologies. But I was actually, yeah. So I'm gonna stop typing and talk. There haven't been any Makai purchases made yet, but there have been several letters sent to owners along Front Street primarily, and we have expressed letters of interest to purchase. So those are difficult to talk about publicly because it's a transaction between private and public that we really can't disclose. But there are offers and there are negotiations on a few things.
Yeah, and we have had interest. So some of the property owners have expressed interest in acquisitions. We do need to go through the due diligence process for that. And for a few properties that has started.
That's a double question. It says,
Yeah.
when will the seawall be fixed and all areas are eliminated? I think you're talking about the Front Street railing project that includes some repairs to the seawall itself. That's the one that's starting next week, and the construction schedule for that ends in February next year. They hope to beat that schedule, but that's the timeline right now. So as long as that project's going on, that chunk of Front Street will definitely be restricted.
The next question that just came in, John, is the county taking over Kilohana in February?
Well, we're talking about Kilohana, but we're not talking about the county taking over Kilohana. But we do understand that it's necessary to have a long-term solution for housing for folks, and so we'll work with the state on Kilohana and FEMA, of course, but that's not been decided.
Yeah.
Aaron, I think if this is Wendy, sorry. I was on a call with FEMA earlier, and I think the question is related to the people hearing that termination of the direct lease or the extension valid right now is up to February.
Yeah.
And so it's our understanding that Haima, if there is a need for temporary housing still, as we approach to February, a request will be made through Haima to FEMA to extend the direct leasing at the Kilohano site and all other direct leasing sites. So people should be getting updates from FEMA if they're in the program. Thank you.
Thanks, Wendy, for clarifying. The next question is, are there any land swaps on the horizon?
Not that I'm aware of, but yeah.
Agreed. Is there any effort to expedite tour operations out of Lahaina Harbor? Many local workers have been forced to leave the island and would like to come home and get back to work.
We are working with DLNR Harbors on some limited commercial operation in the harbor. It's really that's really their question to answer, but we are supportive of that, and we'll bring them back to either this meeting or the in-person meeting to give updates on that activity.
Very good. That is all the questions I see at the moment. Rachel or Rob, did you guys see any other questions that I missed?
Nope.
No.
No, all good. If there are any other questions, please submit now so that we can get to those. This was a nice length of meeting, if not, but we are happy to answer if there's anything else pending or coming in. We'll just give that a minute. Are there, go ahead.
Yeah,
John.
while we're giving everybody a minute, I just note that, we've used this webinar, I think, well, but this summer we're kind of going to take a break from the webinar. We'll still do the in-person meetings, and then we'll retool this and use this tool in the future for specific topics moving forward in the recoveries. But I don't expect another webinar next month. We're going to take a little bit of a break from that.
Yeah. The final question is apartment zone TVR elimination update. That's asking if the transient vacation rental discussion is progressing. And I know that that's happening at council. I don't have the dates in front of me.
I'm here if you'd like, Erin.
Oh, Kate, great.
Hi there.
Please chime in.
So this is Kate Blyson. I'm going to stay off camera because this is just a really quick answer. It is currently within the Housing and Land Use Committee. That's Councilmember Kama's committee. And so we can expect it. We had hoped it was going to go next week, but it looks like it's going to be pushed out a couple weeks. So you can expect that in June for discussion. They will have a public hearing and you'll have an opportunity to share your mana'o at that meeting. So stay tuned for more on that.
Awesome. Thank you, Kate. Army Corps, if you're still available, the question is, how much longer will you folks need to use the Prison Street parking lot?
That's a great question. We'll have to get back to you on that. We may have the answer by the end of this session. If not, we'll have an answer by the next meeting.
Okay, awesome. And that is the end of the questions. Thank you, everybody, for logging in. Thank you to our panel for participating this afternoon and sharing some great information. And we look forward to seeing everybody at the June 4th community meeting. Thanks so much. Aloha.